Hi everybody, Mr. Keller here. Today I'm going to show you a very quick video on how to graph this inequality on this number line down here. And when I say graph it, I mean to show all of the possible solutions that x can be to make this true. Now this starts off a little tricky already because we're supposed to read an inequality starting with the variable, but here the variable is on the right side of this inequality. So I think what it's going to be best for us to do is to take this inequality, put the variable on the other side. So we're going to take this, put the variable on the left this time, put the number on the right. This way we can read it from left to right like we read most things. And the problem is, though, is if we switch both things, the sign cannot be the same. Because if we were to read this starting with the variable on this side, this would be x is less than, because the smaller side is closer to the x, 4, because the bigger side is closer to 4. But now that we switch the variable and the number, we also have to flip the inequality sign as well. So instead of that being a greater than sign, if you read it starting with the 4, which we're not supposed to do, it's now going to be a less than sign. It flips right around. So this one is gone, and now let's look at this one right here. They are exactly the same thing, just written a little differently. So let's put the number in question on the line right here, which is 4. One number bigger to the right, one number smaller to the left. What we want to do is list every possible solution that x can be, which means list every number that is less than 4. Well, 3 is less than 4, and so is 2, and so is 1, and so is -1, and so on and so forth. There are so many numbers. This video would never end if I continued to list every number. So let's go ahead and graph it instead. This graph will show every possible solution rather than sitting here listing them. So let's start off with a dot or a circle where we're starting. And we're going to start here right on the 4 because that's the one that's given to us here. And I'm going to show everything less. So what I'll do is I'll draw a line going to the left, showing every number that is less than the number 4. And you could always check this. You could check the number 3, for instance. Is 3 actually less than 4? And if that is true, which that is, 3 is less than 4, then you drew this correctly. Now one thing we should double check is this right here. This open or closed circle that we started with. It's open in this particular case because looking at the inequality sign, that is a less than, not a less than or equal to, which means that we can have 3, we can have 3.5, we can have 3.9, we can have 3.999, all the way up to and approaching 4, but never actually being 4, which is why this has to be down here. This has to be an open circle because it does not actually include the number 4. It includes everything up to that. So it's every number less than 4 without actually being 4, which is why we are not going to shade that circle. We're going to leave it wide open just like it is. So our final answer would be exactly what you see here.